China is killing tens of thousands of Americans every year using drugs, and we need to talk about why they do this. But first, how do we know for sure China is doing this? Here's how we know. Between 2021 and 2023, more than 217,000 Americans died from opioid overdoses, usually from fentanyl. Now here's the crazy part. During that same period, the US seized tons of these special chemicals that are needed to make the fentanyl, and they found that 84% of these chemicals came from China. So if 217,000 Americans died, and let's say 84% of those deaths were because of chemicals that came from China, that means that China directly helped to kill more than 182,000 Americans. That's equivalent to China participating in 20 September 11th attacks on the US every single year. Okay, but why is China doing this? Well, the first reason is geostrategy. China sees itself as being in a geostrategic war against the United States. They are not interested in being an ally and friend and trading partner. China wants to be stronger than the US and eventually dominate us. And they undermine us in a lot of ways, but drugs like fentanyl are one of their most effective methods. For example, the opioid crisis created a $2.7 trillion economic impact on the United States in the year 2023 alone, which is almost 10% of everything America produces in a year. So by sending fentanyl, China is able to help kill thousands of Americans and greatly damage our economy. And the crazy part is that this doesn't really cost China anything. In fact, China probably makes a profit by doing this because China is actually selling the fentanyl precursors to the drug cartels in Mexico. So geostrategically, sending drugs to the US weakens us while making a profit for China. And by the way, if you like these short to the point geopolitics videos, feel free to subscribe. Now, the second reason China is sending fentanyl to the US is because they want revenge. So back in the 1800s, the British pushed large amounts of opium, which is basically heroin, into China. And of course, many Chinese people became addicted. So China tried to fight back against the British 2 times during the 1800s to stop the opium. But both times the British won the wars and made things even worse for the Chinese. China refers to this period as their century of humiliation. And this century of humiliation is one of the main things that drives China's current foreign policy. China wants a stronger military and to expand their borders so they can never be conquered and humiliated again. Although, ironically, when the communists came to power in China to end the 100 years of humiliation, they killed more than 50 million of their own Chinese people. But that's a topic for another day. Okay, but even if China wants revenge, isn't it morally wrong to flood another country like the United States with deadly drugs? Well, before I explain why China is okay with this, I want to quickly mention that groups like China and Russia and radical Islam are constantly trying to geostrategically outmaneuver and undermine the United States and Western civilization. And you need to be aware of what's happening. This is why I send out a free newsletter called The Overwatch each week where I highlight things happening in war and geopolitics right now. The email takes 5 minutes to read and you'll be more informed than 99% of other people. To get it, click the link below or go to theoverwatch.co. It's completely free. Unsubscribe anytime. So why is China morally okay with flooding the US with fentanyl and killing hundreds of thousands of Americans? Well, the reason is because the Chinese Communist Party is, of course, Marxist. As Lenin put it, the philosophical basis of Marxism is absolutely atheistic and positively hostile to all religion. So basically, the Chinese Marxists believe there is no God, and so they get to make up their own morality. And for China, anything that helps move their cause of global domination forward is morally justified in their minds. This is why Marxists like Mao Zedong were okay with killing 50 million people, and Stalin was okay with killing 20 million people. This is why Marxists in the United States think it's okay to burn cities and attack police. And this is why China today is okay with killing hundreds of thousands of Americans using drugs. It's all the same ideology, and my friends, ideas have consequences. So in summary, China helps fentanyl get to the United States because it helps them geostrategically, it gives them revenge, and they see no moral problem with doing this. Okay, but if the drugs never get to the US, their plan doesn't work. So how exactly does China help get the drugs here? Well, I discussed that exact topic in this next video that's on screen right now. Feel free to click that video and enjoy. Thanks for watching.